to another random character generator. I am Greg Tito, and I have Brandy Camel joining. Hi, Brandy.
Hi, Greg. How are you today?
Pretty good. I'm excited to roll some dice and create a random character. We do that using D&D Beyond's amazing character building tool. We're going to start with a third level character, see what happens, and then Brandy and I will make up a backstory as well as character details based on the numbers and choices that this randomizer spits out. They're not always optimal, but that's part of what makes it fun to create this character. So are you ready, Brandy?
I'm absolutely ready. Honestly, I secretly always hope for the non-optimized ones because I find them to be fun mental exercises.
Absolutely, yeah. They end up being the ones that you write home about. And here we have interesting character, Eluder, which makes, it sounds like Eleanor, at least to me a little bit. So maybe this is a female presenting half-orc fighter.
Yes. Half-orc fighter. What's Mark of Finding?
I don't know what Mark of Finding is.
It feels like an Eberron thing.
Gunslinger, yes. It's a gunslinger. Oh, no, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the Mark of Finding, yes. That would be an Eberron dragon
Is that an
mark.
Eberron? Okay.
That makes total sense. So looking at the stats here,
wow, we're a little all over. We're actually kind of middle of the road, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess at the end they get better, but it's a fighter who's got a 9 strength. So that was what made me laugh at first with a -1 modifier.
But it's a gunslinger, so I think we can work with that.
Yeah, the dexterity's not too bad with a 12 and a +1, and then Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma all +1. Intelligence is the only one that's +2. With a 15 score there. So definitely leaning hard into the more mental statistics for a fighter, which is not common. We'll say
not too common. Maybe this is already speaking to be as like your strategist, right?
Oh yeah, that's a real good way to think about it. Like the one who's calling the shots on the battlefield. Mm-hmm. All right. So half-orc, and in the world of Eberron, or at least using a dragon mark that is from there. Skills-wise, they've got Deception. It's trained with only a +3 modifier, as well as very leaning hard into the charisma-based skills here, because there's Intimidation and Performance, all with a +3 modifier as being trained, and then Perception with a Wisdom score, giving it also a +3. So,
okay.
Yeah, you could see this being a leader type character, or at least someone who is the face, perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see this being a face type character. I could see this. The high perception's really nice because that gives you something with like a lookout position, or maybe even like a sniper. Somebody who's taking the time and really studying the battlefield and determining where to go from there.
Yeah. We said that it was a gunslinger, and it is. So in the fighter choices of fighting style here, they adopted archery. So that's good. It gives them a little bit of a bonus to their attacks. Although we don't get that recognized here because equipment doesn't show up when we do this yet. So, but it would be around the, pretty good stats for a third level character to get like a +6 or a +7 to their attack rolls.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all.
Looking up the gunslinger to get a little bit more about that.
All right, the gunslinger, I believe, is unofficial content. This is a homebrew.
Yeah, this was from Critical Role. So it's mixing both the Wildmount and Eberron materials here to create this character, which is pretty interesting.
I think that's happened to us a couple of times before.
Yeah, it always throws us for a loop too, because you're like, this is a melding of different worlds, but that's part of what makes this fun. Yeah, so they also have Hunter's Intuition as well as Finder's Magic.
Okay. Oh, that Hunter's Intuition is really interesting and plays nicely with the fact that they're already trained in perception.
Right. Yeah, giving them a bonus to those, a D4 bonus, which is fantastic. And then Finder's Magic, which is part of the Mark of Finding from Eberron. Basically gives them a hunter's mark that they can use once per long rest, which is nice. That's usually a ranger's, in the ranger's toolbox.
Well, that's kind of cool. I could also see this character going in the direction of, being maybe like a bounty hunter style character. That might be fun.
Oh, yeah. And the background is also one that is very interesting. A grinner.
I am actually really familiar with this because my character in my Wildmount campaign is on the path to becoming a grinner. So
that's awesome. So yeah, tell us a little bit about what that is.
So this is a kind of a really cool sort of underground group of troubadours mostly, and wanderers and travelers and things like that. So they more often than not tend to be bards, but not always. And it's one of those things where they are a group who's always kind of looking out for one another, looking out for the little guy, trying to find ways to kind of subvert some of the more like oppressive stations out there, and bring help to those who need it. So it's a goodly kind of underground. But it is definitely like a little bit more like the underground rebellion style of organization.
Got it. Yeah, so that is pretty fascinating. And yeah, how do you think that would work with the, gunslinger kind of leader face role that we're talking about here?
What's really funny to me is that this is basically like a half-orc Han Solo in my mind, right? This could totally be the smuggler with a heart of gold style character. Because they're a quick talker, they've got that deception going, they've got intimidation going, so maybe they know how to, talk brass tacks when it comes down to it. The performance can totally tie into this whole underground troubadour, like part of the grinning, or the Golden Grin faction. So there's a lot going on there that actually ties together really nicely.
Yeah, I like the idea of Eluder being, a bit of a showman with how she shoots the guns, being able to do some trick shots, and reminds me a little bit of, I don't know, Back to the Future Part 3 when Marty McFly's got his like, I am actually way better at this than you think I am type of stuff, and I feel like she could play on that a lot.
Totally. Yeah. I think that I think blends in really well. It's a combination of performance and also just kind of showing off in a way that gives you status in an organization, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Not a lot of gunslingers though perform in taverns and things like that. So this would definitely be much more of a carnival or like outdoor performance spaces that they would be in, right?
Yeah, carnival or circus was kind of where I was first going.
Yeah, me too.
I think that meshes pretty well. Could also be actually the type of troupe that travels from empire to empire and performs for nobility, or performs for, maybe performs for kings and queens and things like that.
And that could be a great cover too, so that they're actually doing a lot more than just performing for these courts. They are infiltrating them and being spies. For whoever pays top dollar.
Okay, I'm gonna lose it here because I just noticed. Did you look at the tools proficiency?
Yes. Bagpipes? What?
Bagpipes. Perfect. This is a boisterous character because you have to be. You have to be master of bagpipes, as well as being the type of person who wields one of the loudest weapons in Exandria. If you're going to be throwing around guns and bagpipes, there's no way this is a quiet character.
No, it's horrifying. Being able to, you hear the bagpipes calling, and you know that Eludur and her band of troubadours is coming for you.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's super cool. Yeah, and so languages, common and Goblin. Why do you think Eludur might know Goblin?
There's a couple of reasons. I think Goblin's pretty common, especially in like the Dwendalian Empire. So if this is, if this is a character who's from the world of Exandria, is a Wildmount oriented character, probably someone who roams the countryside in the Dwendalian Empire would fit really well. Just as fits just as well in Jorhas too, because Jorhas is also like highly populated with a variety of different monster races. So Goblin, I think, is just a good call, kind of no matter where you're at in Wildmount.
That makes sense. Do you think so? Yeah, since this combines stuff from Wildmount as well as from Eberron, where would you think that this character hails from, or do they travel the planes? Do they go back and forth between these two worlds and even to our material plane?
I could kind of see it either way. Maybe this is somebody who was I'm getting kind of planeswalkery with this concept, but maybe this is somebody who was dropped off from the world of Eberron into the world of Critical Role, right? Maybe they started in Eberron or was born in Eberron, but at a very early age migrated to Exandria for whatever reason. Maybe it was an accident, maybe it was intentional. Could be that they were taking refuge. I know dragon marks are, so for, totally correct me on this, because for me, Eberron's one of the worlds I know a little bit less about, but I know dragon marks are very prized and very highly sought after. So perhaps this was someone who ended up with a dragon mark that wasn't supposed to, or was in grave danger as a result of inheriting this dragon mark.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then perhaps we're drawn into a ritual or a spell or a teleportation circle that was supposed to do one thing but ended up going awry and putting them in Tal'Dorei instead, or in Wildmount instead.
Yeah, that's totally an option I could see here. I could actually see a really cool arc happening for this character with this whole Finder's Magic tied in, where maybe what they're trying to find is their way home.
Yes, yeah, I had that exact same leap as soon as you started talking. I'm like, oh, this is like Voyager. Like this is like they got real far away, and then now they're in just trying to get back. I love that. Okay, so what does Ellidur look like? What do you think her appearance is while she's here in Wildmount?
Oh, well, let's see. She's probably a little bit thinner than you might expect for a half-orc, especially with that low strength coming into play. This isn't your typical ripped half-orc kind of character. Maybe she's a little bit more lithe, especially being a gunslinger, needs to be able to do fancy shots and things like that. I think that could be a really cool look for her. If she's got longer hair, then she probably keeps it pulled back and out of her face, or keeps a hat to keep it tucked under. You could almost go like that Annie Oakley style of thing with like a bun tucked underneath a wide-brimmed hat.
Yep, I was totally thinking. I'm blanking on the name of the character from Red Dead Redemption 2, but that ends up being a wonderful, gunslinger. Despite where she came from. So yeah, that'd be great. Annie Oakley, Annie, get your gun. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. So
yeah,
this has got a cowboy-esque feel to it. I think
it really does. It does have kind of a cowboy-esque feel to it. Something about giving half-orcs a Western accent, I think, just happens in the world of Critical Role.
So we're staying true. I love that.
Yep, absolutely.
Excellent. All right. Well, I mean, I think this Ellidur came together pretty easily here. I think we're ready for summarization. Was there any other parts of this that you wanted to make sure we talk through?
Honestly, I think we hit all the major notes. We have a really well fleshed out character. I think everything just kind of landed in place through serendipity.
Yeah. All right. So Ellidur is a half-orc fighter. Trained in archery or ranged combat because of their gunslinging skills. They're also proficient with firearms and general fighting skills, but that's not where their strengths lie. Ellidur is all about performance and being the face of a perhaps nefarious organization, at least one that is able to infiltrate into high places and entertain, but maybe also get some secrets that they can peddle and attempt to get even more resources, because Ellidur's ultimate goal is trying to get back to her homeworld, get back to Eberron, and she may be trapped in Wildmount and joining the Grinners in order as a means to an end more than anything else. She also has a dragon mark, which allows her to focus fire on specific bad guys, but also find stuff that is necessary, which gets into what she's trying to do, which is get back to her homeland. As far as appearance goes, she looks like a thin, lithe, perhaps tall figure. Hair up in a bun behind a wide-brimmed hat. No nonsense, but is quick to laugh, especially when she brings out her bagpipes as a threat or a warning to those around her, and perhaps her companions and compatriots roll their eyes every time they start hearing her bagpipe playing. And she's got a really kind of a Western drawl in how she speaks, leaning into the cowgirl kind of motif we're going with here.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
She's got to have the y'all and the, how y'all doing today? That real kind of southern happy drawl.
Y'all got some sand to be talking to us this way. Yeah, I like that a lot. So yeah, that's Ellidur. She is a really fun character. Even looking at the -1 strength, I was like not sure this was going to be something that was going to be playable, but I think this ends up with something that has some really good hooks that you could use if you were going to use her as an NPC or play her in your games.
Absolutely. I think that she could be a really good option for the brains of the outfit for like a hidden cell of golden grinners or things of that nature.
Yeah. Being able to intimidate and, run a good show with a performance and deception as well is going to make her very good at being the face of any one of those pseudo-illegal organizations. That ends up in high places. I think that's also really key. Like she uses that kind of demeanor to go in places above her station.
Definitely.
So cool. Awesome. Well, that's Ellidur. Thank you so much, Brandy, for talking through this character with me. We'll put a link to this character in the show notes. So if you're interested in finding out what all of this means and perhaps using Ellidur in your games, here's the opportunity to do so.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Greg.
Yeah, no problem. And Brandy, if people have any stories about using Ellidur in their games, how could they tag you and let you know?
Definitely the best place to find me is on Twitter at DAYNTEE, Dainty.
Excellent. And throw me a tag in there too, at Greg Tito. And I'd love to hear about using Ellidur in your Wildmount, Eberron, or other setted games.
She's so cool. Honestly, I'm trying to find ways already mentally to use her.
I know, right? I want to be her also. I like to play it too. So fun.